Well, here I am again for another edition of Don't Tell Me to Shut Up.
Well, hello.
Hey, what's up?
What's
What are you
happening?
doing here? Fancy meeting you here.
What do you mean? I'm always here.
I know. I'm just kidding. So, wow, like the last podcast I did really set some people off. It was a lot of people who were on my side, it was a lot of people who were not. Now, this is what I don't understand, and this is what grinds my gears. Thank you, Peter, from Family Guy. I think it's okay to disagree, but you don't have to be disrespectful.
Yeah.
And so a lot of people, specifically men, said some really nasty things to me and about me about whatever agenda they felt I was pushing. I'm not pushing any agenda. I'm a Black woman in this world trying to enjoy my life before it's over. So, my thing is, I'm going to respect you. I would hope that you would at least respect me as well. The other thing is, I'm not easily ruffled.
Sweet.
You're not going to hurt my feelings because you say something like, ah, rah, rah, rah. I'm not thinking anything about that. I'm going on living my life, having a good time. But I will say the conversation sparked several other questions. And I don't know if you noticed, but shortly after that, you saw this onslaught of divorces and separations.
Yeah.
And I couldn't help but wonder from one conversation about the responsibility of men and women in a relationship and should a woman accept a man who doesn't have money and da da da. And I said one of my things was I know that it can cause unnecessary arguments in a
Right.
relationship if I feel as though, and I don't care how cool the relationship starts out, I think eventually you're going to have an argument, and whoever is making more money is going to, go with a low blow about your money or lack thereof. It's just going to happen.
All right.
It's going to happen. It's like having tiny hands and getting into an argument, and somebody says, with your tiny ass hands. It's going to happen with your broke ass. It's just going to happen. But I wonder, with the great divide in between men and women, specifically Black and brown women, people get mad when I say that, Black and brown. Well, it's because we all are, most of us who are listening to this
Yeah.
podcast or are Black or brown. Say what
Yeah.
you want to, but there's this whole thing about me saying that people think that somehow now kind of takes away the value of what I have to say because I'm focused on brown people as opposed to just Black people. So stupid, but whatever. But I really did begin to wonder, is marriage worth it anymore?
Mm.
I mean, and I'm not saying that it's not worth it. I am not condoning no one get married. I'm not condoning that women kind of live their own lives sans a man. And I'm not saying that men should never. I am not saying that at all. I'm simply posing the question. Is marriage worth it? Um, does it work? I know the reason for marriage today is not the same as it used to be.
Right.
And I know a lot of people will argue that fact, but it is just the truth. There was a time that a woman had to get married in order to have someone to provide for her. That is no longer the case. So, since that's no longer the case, I know there is a need to get married, although it is not necessary in order to procreate and to have a family. You can have a family now
Right.
out of wedlock, though a lot of Christians do not condone that. Um, I wonder, I don't know. I look at all of the marriages in the last 10 years that have come and gone so quickly. Most recently, I look at Tiana Taylor and Imani Schuper, and I think, wow, I really wanted them to make it. I thought they were so cute as a couple. And I know that there's so much more to it than just being a cute couple. There is the work that goes in, there's all the things that we did not see and could not see on social media. And it just didn't work for whatever reason,
Right.
whether it's her career, his career, which goes back to, women working outside of the home, men trying to be the providers. And, I don't know a lot about them, I don't know if he's still playing basketball. I don't know because I don't watch basketball like that. I don't know. I know she mentioned she was going to retire from the music industry because it was crazy and she wanted to focus on her family. So I don't know what they're doing, but I know they were both still trying to maintain financially a good household,
Right.
which can take you away from the family.
Right.
So the more time you spend away from home, the more time you spend away from each other, the more you can focus on, wow, look at all of the differences that I never paid attention to before. I don't know. And so um if you don't get married, then what does that mean? And if you do get married, like for instance, I'll use myself as the prime example because I'm a lady of a certain age, although I'm still
Lady.
fabulous. I've never been married. I do have a son, but I've never been married. It does not mean I've never been proposed to. I've just never felt the need to say yes for a myriad of reasons. Um, but now that I've gotten older, it's not that I don't want to get married. And being very transparent, I have never been the type to say or to focus 100% of my energy on my wedding and the dress and everyone. I've never done that. Not one time in my life. I've never thought about, you know, the wedding day and how beautiful. I just never thought about that. It didn't mean that I didn't want to get married, but I did have some uh, nervousness about the possibility of getting older alone, more so focused on who gonna take care of me, more focused on me, um, and concerned about my health, things like that. Not that there's anything wrong, but just wondering, if I don't know if I would need somebody.
Right.
But now as I've gotten older, um, I know financially I can take care of myself. I've been a good steward of my health. And so I've been able to take care of myself. Now, I understand there are some things that you have no control over when it comes to your health, but I've tried to be a good steward. And so I can still drop it like it's hot. I still got
Okay.
Megan Thee Stallion knees, even though I'm not Megan Thee Stallion's age. Um, and so when I was younger, I did not think that when I got in my 50s that I would be the person that I am. But I am. I'm good. And so, you say marry out of love. Okay, well, I that would be fine with me. Again, for me, I don't know that I would get married. I don't know. But I would like a partner who has the same vision that I have, who has the same outlook on life, has the same goals and hopes and dreams and same values and things like that. But if it doesn't happen, I don't find myself feeling lost and depressed. I don't feel any of that. I'm
Right.
still equally as excited about my life and the possibilities that are unfolding before me as I was when I was in my 20s.
Would you like to be with someone though? Like, would it be nice to have somebody
In a
to
marriage?
no, just in general,
Well, you
like
missed my
just
whole point. I never said I would not, that I'm just going to be by myself and alone. I didn't
yeah.
say that. I said I marriage is not at the forefront of my mind now. Fucking
But
round.
like, if
That's
somebody
totally
proposes to
different.
you, would you say? Do you think you will say yes, or that just depends on the
Well, I think it
situation?
depends. That's hard to answer because I'm not in that situation. I'm not currently with anyone that I would even consider marriage.
Right.
But honestly, I don't think they are thinking about marriage either. I think I mean, I feel like again, yes, I think masculine energy is amazing. I love being around men. I love men. Um, would I get married to the right person? Of course, probably. Again, I think because my definition of marriage over the years has changed so much. It's just changed a lot. When I was younger, I thought you had to get married in order
Okay.
to have a house and, have a family and, go on vacations because I was a kid. So I thought that way of marriage. Marriage was stability. Marriage, I can't say that it was love. I would imagine it was, but I just remember vividly thinking marriage was how you get all the things that you want and you're happy.
Right.
and you needed to be married to be happy. But then as I begin to live, to experience success on my own, it's not that I thought I didn't need or want marriage anymore. It just wasn't the focal point of my life the way it was for most people. Because I realized I don't have to look to a man to buy a house. I can buy my own house.
Right.
I can buy my own car. I can go on vacation. I can buy clothes and shoes and, get my nails done and get my hair done. And I can do all of those things on my own. So now the question isn't who's going to provide all of those things for me. It is who's going to add to my life. It doesn't have to be monetarily speaking, but it means what joy are you bringing? Are you coming in with drama or are you coming in cuz I'm happy. I love my life. I have fun times. I'm surrounded by good friends and good people. And so I don't want to lose that to wonder where my man is or
Right.
to, is he messing around on me? And full disclosure, I am of the school of thought, not that I condone cheating, I do not, but I'm one of those people that wonder, can people be monogamous? I don't know. And so if I were to get married, if my husband were to cheat, I would be very upset. I'd be very hurt. And it's easy for me to say this sitting in this chair as a single woman, not married. And I might think otherwise if I were married. But, I know my mama cheated on my daddy and they were married for almost 40 years, happy as far as I could tell. I don't know. Maybe they stayed for the kids because they adopted us in the first place. And what you can't do is mess up. You know what I mean? You can't break up the
Right.
family after you brought kids into a situation. And, we never spoke. So I don't really know how that worked out. And if she knew, I think she knew. But, you know, hopefully love is greater than just about sex. So I don't know. And so now I feel like all of those things I have. Do I love the company of a man? You best believe it every chance I get. I love the company of a man. Um, if I were dating someone and I really, really loved them, I would, of course, consider marriage if they ask me. I would consider a partnership first.
So, what is the difference between someone cheating on you in a marriage and cheating on you in a partnership?
I don't think there is a difference. I
Okay.
mean, legally, I'm sure there's a difference,
Mm.
right? But I think it's the same. I think it's the same in any relationship, any type of behavior, just because there is a title given to one and not the other. I think there is still possibly the loss of trust
Right.
just because you're married. I mean, I know people who've been together forever and they're not married, but they operate from a place of marriage.
Right.
So the feelings don't recognize the word, the term, the title of marriage at all, right? Like
Right.
it doesn't matter to you if you were dating someone and they cheated on you and you were married to someone and they cheated on you. I think the hurt would be the same. What's the difference?
Yeah.
Both in both situations they claim to be committed to you and they weren't, or they had a momentary lapse in judgment. But the hurt still feels the same, right?
Yeah.
The
Of
tears
course.
still fall the same way down your face on the pillow. So I don't know what the difference would be.
No, I'm not. I was just asking because I know that you were first speaking about those circumstances in a marriage. So I was just asking if to you it will be a difference.
No. Well, I didn't mean to give that kind of distinction if I did, but I don't think I said anything about the cheating aspect of it as much as I was just talking about being in a relationship. Um, and is there a need? I mean, I don't want to say that I don't think that there is a need for marriage anymore. I just wonder with so many people divorcing when you are someone single, such as myself, or even you for that matter, you're single. So if it appears the happiest people divorce, do you still have the desire to get married? And are you as hopeful today as you were 10 years ago?
I actually do. I mean, I don't necessarily. It's just like you. It's not something that I dream about. Like, I'm not sitting here picturing myself in a wedding dress and all of that stuff. I mean, I would like for it to happen, but if it doesn't happen, I would definitely like just a long term partner. I mean, it's something that we have to talk about in the beginning to see where our values lie and to make sure that we both are on the same page. But um, I don't necessarily get discouraged by, all the divorces that I hear about, because then you have to wonder too. I don't know, yesterday we looked at the numbers, but you have to wonder too, like, is it amplified just because of who they are, but I'm not. I it's something that I would like, but it's not like a deal breaker for me. Like if the person doesn't want to get married, as long as they want some sort of
So it's the
commitment
same.
with
You're
me,
saying the same thing I am.
yeah. And as long as they want a family, that's very important to me.
Yeah. The
So
only thing I am a firm believer that people tell you what you want to hear when you ask them. They never tell you the truth.
right,
Now that's just my opinion. From my experience, it doesn't mean that I'm right. It just means from my experience. And I think most people have been that way as humans since they were children. Who broke this? I didn't do it. Or I think the accountability factor is
okay,
instilled in you from a very young kid. Even as you get older, when someone asks you a question, you not never, but I would say 80% of the time you tell people what they want to hear versus the truth. If someone says, do you think I'm fat? You never say yes. You say, no, not at all, you look good. When the truth of the matter is maybe they have gained weight.
right,
Or if somebody says, does this look good on me? Oh, it looks amazing. And then you turn around and say, this looks terrible on her. And it could be regardless of the reason.
right,
You don't want to hurt someone's feelings. But I think you say what people want to hear in that moment. If your boss asks you, did you get the report done? You can know good and damn well the report ain't even started. And you'll be like, I'll have it for you tomorrow. I'm almost finished.
right.
And you haven't started. So again, I think when you ask the question, people generally don't tell you the truth. They tell you what you want to hear. And so when you
That's
ask a
true.
man, are you going to be on the same page as me? Are you going to be faithful? He's not going to say, nah, I'm not going to do that.
Well, I'm not necessarily speaking from a faithful part. I'm just speaking about what they want. Like I think I've gone through so many like crazy experiences with dudes that I really want to make sure that the person that is dating me just doesn't want a situationship.
Yeah, but I think even in that, it's the same thing. They tell you what you want to hear, especially me. Now, I'm not going to say women don't do it either. I think there are women who would probably do it too. I think it has been amplified in men because we talk about it more, especially women, because all we do is talk for sure,
right,
and we share the stories, and you find out that, oh, I thought this guy really liked me. He said he wanted a commitment. He said he wanted to get married, but then I found out he was cheating or he was seeing the chick down the block. Only he didn't tell me. I
right.
thought he wanted a serious relationship. Oh, he does, but not with me. So again, I think most people say what they want to get what they want. So it's having I think it takes a large amount of trust and faith in the person that you're dealing with that they are telling you the truth.
Yeah, but then I also I mean, I take accountability for a lot of the situations that I've been in. And then in a new situation, I hope that I've learned from that, and I hope that I learned to read between the lines and read the red flags. And if I don't, then I'm just a dumbass. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I mean, that's harsh,
No,
but
but I mean, but it's the truth. You know what I'm saying? I mean, and I'm not
well, I
saying
don't think it necessarily makes you a dumbass. I think that there are people out there who are very charismatic, both male and female,
yeah,
who can say things to make you believe them. And there are no lines to read between because it sounds like everything that they're saying is true. That's why I believe firmly in I don't listen to what you say, I
right,
watch what you do. And if you tell me that you love me and you miss me and you can't wait to be with me, but then you're always making plans all around me without me, then clearly there's some lies being told here.
right.
You know what I mean? So I don't know. Again, I have not lost hope in marriage. I I don't think about it, but I
Yeah,
think, as I've heard so often, typically love and things like that come when you're least expecting them.
yeah.
I don't know. Hopefully I'll recognize it when I see it. I think again that, I just believe in, you know, I don't know. Just putting your money where your mouth is. If you say you're going to be there for me, then be there for me. If you just keep saying it, but you never show up, eh.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I feel like I do, we did have this conversation yesterday, and I said that I think that divorces are happening all over, not just in the world of celebrities, but I also think there are a number of people who are still staying together in spite of. But I do know for a fact, just based on the handful of my friends, it is not without damage. It is not without
Yeah, of
drama
course.
and problems. But I think you just have to find someone that you are willing to go through all of those things with and still love them.
Yeah. Yeah,
I
I
just
mean,
haven't found
I
the
do
person yet.
think that now people, I mean, I get it. We're not in the 1930s and you don't have to get married at 14 and stay with your husband, but just even if they have another family on the other side. But I do think that there is a decent amount of people that just get divorced for stupid shit.
But I also think it comes down to the mentality of it, right? Because nowadays you have so many more options than you had in the past. Even not in the 1930s, but shoot, the 1990s,
Right.
right? Right before the big social media explosion, what you had was your zip code.
Right.
And if you went outside of your zip code to go to a club or whatever, then you might have met somebody. Or maybe you went off to college and you met somebody. But now you could be in your house in New Brunswick, New Jersey, and have a whole relationship with somebody, in, I don't know, Glendale, New York. California.
Yeah.
So the odds of meeting someone are so much greater now in terms of quickness.
Right.
You used to be able to say, yeah, I love this chick. She get on my nerves, but ain't nobody out there better. Well, now you got all day to peruse chicks who have the potential of being better. You don't know that they are, but you're on social media. The same thing goes with women with dudes all day long. What is this social media account that pops up on my timeline all the time? Bedroom Crush. And there's some dude walking around in his underwear, and I'm like, damn. Now, if I'm with a guy and this is on my feed all the time, and my dude has gained weight, and I'm looking at this dude like, ooh, now all of a sudden I'm desiring this guy more than the guy that I have. Whereas before, that was not the case.
So are we always not from now on? Are we all going to live our lives thinking that the grass is greener on the other
We've
side?
always thought that. There's a newsflash for you. You've always thought the grass was greener on the other side. Always.
Yeah, but even if it
You've always
was,
you just didn't think you had access to the grass. That's the difference. But I think people have always thought the grass was greener. Always. You just didn't know how to get to the grass. Now it's
yeah,
easy to get to the grass. That's all. And I think people will always think the grass is greener on the other side. When you have a job, you'll beg for a job. Can't wait to get the job. Just beg and plead the universe, oh God, give me this job. As soon as you get that job and you've been working on it for 3 months, you're already thinking about another job.
yeah,
You see somebody
I
else with
know,
a job that's better, you want that job.
yeah,
That's how it goes. You're in a relationship with a dude, right? As I can only speak from a woman's perspective, not a man's. But I think the same is true for men. You're in a relationship, period. There is something missing in your relationship, or you think it's great, and then you're on social media, or you hear conversations on a podcast or from a friend about what this guy is doing for his girl, or what this girl is doing for her man. And all of a sudden, you're like, my man don't do that for me. And every day, just a barrage of these types of images and videos. You can't tell me that after a while, especially when you and your other person argue, that you don't start thinking, he don't never do that to her. You think the grass is greener when you really don't know because you're watching in snippets about the other person's
right.
relationship. And they could be having the same problems. They could be having problems that are worse.
I mean, that's why I don't really like believe in the whole hashtag relationship goals. Like, I've never been a fan because my thing is like you never know what a person is going through in their actual home. Like,
I still think you could still have relationship goals of what the romanticized version of what you're watching is in your head, because really, if your perception is your reality, then you could perceive that relationship in being something,
right,
right? So you could actually have a relationship goal to be that, because whatever it is you're not seeing, that's not the goal that you want. You want
Right.
the goal of what the visual of what you're seeing. So optically, you can say, oh, look at them walking on the beach holding hands. Those are relationship goals for me. That's the relationship
Right.
that you want. You have no idea about the other side of it. So you can't say that that's a goal because you don't see what's happening.
Right. But that's my point.
Right. But I'm saying you want the relationship that you see, not the part you don't see.
Right, but I guess that I am just I mean, in a lot of things I'm not necessarily a realist, but in this situation, I am I know that every day is not in a relationship, whether it's a friendship or just or a romantic relationship. Not every day is going to be like roses. Like it's
Right.
not gonna
Oh,
smell like
absolutely.
roses. So
Without question. But I think what I am saying is when you see a cake on the shelf
mhm.
and you want it and you be like, "Ooh, cake goals." You don't think about the baker who made it.
Right.
You don't think about all of the effort that went into making the cake. All you're looking at is what you see.
Right.
So I'm saying when I see hashtag relationship goals, I'm not saying I want everything in their relationship. What I'm saying is I want that part. So
That makes
in
sense.
my head, that's kind of how I look at it. I don't want whatever arguing that they're doing about, outside of this particular video. I want this part right here of them laying in the bed, watching TV, cuddled up. Well, I'm not a cuddler like that, but watching TV and enjoying one another. I want that kind of the relationship,
Right.
not all the other stuff. Because I can only guess at what that is. So I can't say I want what I can't see.
No, I get it.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
no, I got you.
now, if I say I want everything about this relationship, even the stuff I can't see, that might be problematic. Do you know?
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, my hope is that, you know, marriages are still in style. I don't know. I just don't think about it the way a lot of when I was growing up or in school in college. I don't think about it the way a lot of my friends did. And I don't know if I know I'm not an outlier or am I? Um, there might not be a lot of women who think the way that I do. I have no idea. It was just never, I never felt and I wasn't raised also in a household that pushed me to that. So I never felt in order to be happy, in order to be whole, in order to be successful, marriage has got to be one of the things that I focus on. It was never that. That's not to say that when I would come home, certain members of my family wouldn't say, "When you get married?" But I think once they saw my success, they stopped asking me that.
Mm. But do you think maybe you never really had that feeling because maybe you haven't really found the the person that will make you feel that way?
No, I have been proposed to by people that I actually loved. At that time though, I mean they died, but they ended up being killed in a car accident, but we won't get into that. But I think I always wanted there's something that I've always felt was a calling on my life to
Mhm.
be something first
Mhm.
and then everything else would be secondary. So it's not that I've never thought about marriage. It's not that I've ever said I don't want to get married. I've never said those things. I've just always known that I didn't need it to validate me. I didn't need
Got
it
it.
to, be whole or be, a successful lady. I never felt that. I always felt like I'm a movement all by myself. And eventually I will meet someone that will understand my movement and I his,
Mm.
and there will be a partnership there.
Makes
That's all.
that makes sense.
Yeah, of course it makes sense. I said it.
Okay. Sure.
Don't get mad at me because
I
I know what I'm
no.
saying. But I don't know. I just just in the wake of all of these divorces, it's really sad though because I think it does send a message to a lot of the younger generation who has not yet lived a lot that marriage isn't important. Like being on those platforms and being seen, even though we know that there are far more relationships and marriages outside of the limelight than there are that are in the limelight, but because you see those. And
Yeah.
so it makes you wonder, wow, I saw Jenny Mai and Jeezy. Whereas at first they were just all in love and all of this and boop, didn't make it. You know, again, Tiana Taylor and Iman, every time I saw them together, I was like, oh my God, this is such beautiful love. And it doesn't mean they don't love each other anymore. It just means that they couldn't make it work together for whatever reason. Uh, and so I've often wondered and have asked people, I've even had this conversation with you, not that you've been married before, but I always wonder what happened that changed between the moment of standing before God, your family, and all of your friends and saying, I'm going to love this person till I die. I love them so much that I want to be connected to them, that all of a sudden now you hate them. Or now you can say such disparaging things about them because you're getting a divorce or you're getting separated. You look at Kevin Costner and his wife, right? And you look at how in love they were and all of these pictures, and all of a sudden now they hate each other. It's like, what the fuck? What happens? And I can't answer that, and neither can you because we've never been married. So we can only speculate at life has happened, situations have happened. I have no idea. And I would be foolish to think, having never been married, that I could even answer that question. I can't. I can only wonder and be curious about what changes your heart, what changes your love. I saw a clip on social media the other day that said, you wonder why people say, oh, I just fell out of love. I just don't feel the same no more. I mean, I've always said, and it's not an original thought of my own, but I've always said and repeated, I don't ever want to fall in love.
Mhm.
Nothing good comes from falling. Bruises, scars for life. I don't want to fall in love. I just don't. I don't. I'd like to be in love.
That makes
I just don't
sense.
want to fall in love. If you fall in love, you can fall out of it.
Yeah.
I'd rather be in love. And hopefully, um, that love would turn into a beautiful partnership. Call it marriage, call it whatever you want to. I don't know. And it's not that I'm bucking the tradition of marriage. It's just that I believe something happens to both men and women when they feel chained.
Jasmine's partner, wherever you're at, come.
Damn. Don't be sending out the bat signal like that. But I will say that I hate the stereotype that if you are of a certain age and you're not married, that something's wrong with you.
Oh,
I
yeah.
don't I don't believe that. That's well, not only do I not believe it, I know for a fact, as it pertains to me, there's nothing wrong with me. Now I will say, um, as you get older, you do become a little bit more stuck in your ways. I think you do begin to get accustomed to living life by yourself. And so there are certain things that you expect that you won't accept less than. And I think it makes it more difficult to find a partner.
Well, because if you don't, I think that when you're young, you don't necessarily know what it is that you want.
Well, when you're young,
But
you also don't have the money to buy the things that you want.
no,
So you
no,
don't care about how the house is kept, or you don't care about how the car, you don't care about any of those
right.
things.
But even like emotionally, like you don't know what it is that you're looking for. Like me personally, like I am, even though at that moment I didn't see it, but I am grateful for my experiences because I am, and I'm not afraid to say at this age, I actually now I'm molding to what it is that I'm looking for and what it is I would like my partner to provide for me. You know what I'm saying? Not provide like in monetary wise, but just be able to add to me as a person.
Right.
So, and I'm not saying that I'm completely there yet, but um, I didn't know that 5, 10 years ago.
Yeah.
So I think it'll probably make for a better situation, or at least on my end, of what it is that I could give and add to the other person. So
Yeah, I agree with that. But I was speaking more in terms of like your everyday schedule and the things and
mm,
how you are, and for me, I was a little more flexible when I was younger, um and people could come in and adjust my schedule and it
hmm
didn't bother me. I would stay up all night long because he liked to stay up all night long, and we'd laugh and giggle and, eat all kinds
Yeah.
of crazy stuff. I'm not that person anymore. I don't want to stay up all night. So I'm going to bed.
Oh, really?
10 o'clock,
You
I'm going to
go,
bed.
honey.
And so I'm saying those types of things, I'm not as flexible as I used to be. I like my house to be kept a certain way.
Hmm.
So it would be difficult for me to become flexible and make room for someone who's messy.
Right.
You know what I
No,
mean?
I get
Like
it.
adding to my life, absolutely. I know who I am. I know, the things that I could accept. It doesn't mean that I'm not open to change because I know I'm not a perfect individual. So there are a lot of things about me, about my patience, about my mouth that I know need work on. And so for the right person, and really for myself and my own relationships, friendships, business friendships, all of those things, I, I am a work in progress in that. And so I'm pliable still in that area. But when it comes to the way I like to live, the things I like to do, I'm a little less flexible in those areas. So that's more of what I'm talking about. I'm going on vacation every year, and either you can afford to go or you can't.
Right. No, I got you. I'm
So,
I'm with you on that.
I'm going to go pay an ungodly amount of money to get my hair done. I don't want anybody to tell me that I can't do it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I like my house to be kept a certain way, very neat and clean. That's how I am. I don't want to change that because I like it. That to me is totally different than saying, I don't know, I'm hot tempered and that's just how I am. I wouldn't say that. I would try to change. But little things like I like my house to be tidy at all times. So if you're gonna come over here and put a bowl or a glass on the table and not pick it up, and your socks are gonna be here and your books are gonna be over there, that's a problem for me.
No,
Clean this shit up pronto.
I understand. I mean, I
Keep
could
your
really.
mess at your house. Why are there dishes in the sink?
Yeah, I mean, I've grown on in that sense as well. So before I did, now I want to have organizers in the fridge. You know what I'm saying? That's before I didn't care, just put the shit in the fridge. So
That's what I'm talking
I
about.
get
So
it.
that kind of thing for
Yeah,
me is what I mean when I say I'm not flexible. Everything else I'm flexible on because I know I am not a perfect individual. And so I am willing to work on things. If I were partnered with somebody and they say, "Well, I don't like it when you snap," or "I don't like it when you're condescending when you speak to me," or, those things I would work on for the sake of the other person. As long as I felt they were, well, first of all, I'm not going to say as long as anything. I would work on those things
hmm,
because I'm wrong in that if I am doing that.
right.
But in terms of knowing what I need to feel safe, to feel secure, to feel free enough to open up and be exactly who I am for the right person, absolutely. But they would have to provide that for me, just like I hope I would be able to provide that for them, because I do believe in reciprocity. I don't think a man should come in providing everything for a
Yeah.
woman, and I don't think a woman should come in providing everything for a man. Hence my disagreement with Tyler Perry. But
Yeah.
hopefully relationships will, still evolve into marriages that will last and have a longer shelf life than what they appear to be having at the moment. But I do think that it really is a combination of social media. The moment you put your relationship on social media, and the moment you put it out there, people love it initially, then they can't wait to tear it
Yeah.
down. They look for little bits and pieces and cracks in the armor to be able to kind of wiggle through to cause more strife in your relationship. And now here you are believing stuff that you see on social media that's not even true. It's just terrible.
Yeah.
Oh well, long live love and relationships, I guess. I don't know. Mm.
See my little heart.
Not over your titties, I can't. You gotta lift your heart up for me to see it. You gotta lift it higher. Girl, that's crazy. Anyway, that's it. That's all I have today. That was my rant for the day about relationships. Like I said, in wake of all of these divorces and separations and, you know, again, what inspires hashtag relationship goals are seeing people come together. So if you are inspired by seeing people come together, it
Yeah.
would only stand to reason that you would also be equally inspired by things when you see them fall apart. You'd be
Yeah.
like, oh, maybe I should get married. I don't know. But
It is what it is.
live and let live.
It's
That's me
always the
putting on
bank
more lip
girls.
gloss. It's always the what girls?
There's always the bank girls.
Who are the
The
bank girls?
bank. The bank. There's always the bank girls.
Is that a group? Who the fuck are the bank girls?
No, I'm talking to the ladies. There's always the bank girl.
I don't get it.
It's okay, don't worry.
There's always the bank.
Yeah, the bank.
In what context?
The sperm bank.
You know, nobody got that reference, right? Do you know why? Let me help you understand why nobody got that reference. Because we were talking about money. We were talking about relationships. We weren't talking about sex and having babies. And you just said it's always the bank girls. So initially I thought, well, maybe the bank girls is a group. And then I was like, okay, well, okay, the bank is there. There's always the bank. What the fuck are you talking about? You should have started that by saying, well, here, if you want to have kids, there's always a sperm bank. You're welcome. You be saying some stuff, man. And it makes so much sense in your head because you just be like, yes, I said something great. Kinda. You're missing a lot of pieces on that. But we thank you for your contribution. Okay, I gotta go. That's my time. But there's always the bank.
Yeah.
The fuck? Get out of here with that.